Hi, welcome to Blaze Cooks. I'm Blaze, and today we're going to do tomato sauce with meatballs and sausage. This is a classic, and I know you might have done it yourself many a times, but I'd like you to pay attention to my method because first of all, it's simple and basically focuses on the essence of really the tomato and the sausage and the meatballs that you're going to put in the sauce. So watch me, and I'm going to dispel some myths and hopefully show you a few tips and tricks along the way. So first of all, we're going to start with our sausage. Our sausage right out of the supermarket, it's sweet sausage, and I'm just going to put a bunch of holes in it. Sometimes I use a fork, but my knife's handy, and I know the tip of this knife is nice and sharp. And we're going to saute these in a large 12-inch saute pan, one of my specials, the pan with the broken handle. And we're just going to put it on medium-high heat, no oil in there. There's plenty of fat that is going to come out of these holes we just put in it. And we're going to brown the sausage. Now, while that's sauteing, we're going to get the sauce ready. Now, I have the sauce in this big silver pot back here. I'm going to take the lid off because actually we want to reduce the sauce. Now, the tomatoes, there's 4 cans of these 35-ounce Tutto Rosso peeled plum-shaped tomatoes. Remember, these are already cooked. So cooking them in the pot isn't about cooking the tomatoes as much as reducing the liquid in them so you get your sauce at the right consistency. Now, in that sauce, I'm going to put in 4 onion halves, or 2 onions halved, a bunch of parsley, and 2 cloves of garlic. The trusty anchovies, don't tell my wife about these. She always says she can taste the anchovies, but I don't believe her. And also, I'm going to put a cup of olive oil in it. So, while the sausage is sauteing and the sauce gets up to a nice temperature where it really starts cooking down, we're going to make our meatballs. We're going to chop up some parsley coarsely for our meatballs. So that's finished, and I have my garlic right here, already chopped medium fine. I have black pepper and of course salt, and we're going to put that all in the bowl with the ground meat. That's 2 pieces of regular sandwich bread with the crust chopped off, ripped into pieces and soaked in a little skim milk and cream. I added the cream because I only had the skim milk. To that we're going to add the meat, and it's a meatloaf mix. We have, I don't know in which order, I know this is beef, but this is either the pork or veal, this is either the pork or veal, and I love meatloaf mix. So we're just going to mix it with our hands, which I think is very important. It's easy, practical, it definitely gets it all mixed together. And now we're going to add the black pepper, some salt. Meat needs a lot of salt. I've said that to you many a time. There's the parsley and the garlic. You can hear our sausage going in the background. Before I finish mixing the meatballs, I'm going to check on my sausage here and flip some of these over. Oh, they're ready. Well, that side's ready. As you can see, nice and brown. Couple ingredients I forgot to mention. Grated cheese. I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of that in with the meat, and also an egg. I broke an egg in here already, and I'm going to finish mixing it up. Now I'm going to roll the meatballs. I'm going to make them, a little smaller than a golf ball, and you just roll them in your hand as best you can. And today I'm using panko, which is Japanese breadcrumbs. Now panko is usually real flaky like coconut, but I didn't want my meatballs to have a fried crust on it like coconut. It'd be too greasy and too crunchy on the outside. So what I did was I processed them. So I'm going to finish rolling out the meatballs, and when the sausage is finished, which I'm sure it is finished now, in fact I'm going to take it off heat right now, I'm going to take the sausage out. I'm not going to put them in the sauce right now. I'm going to put them off to the side, and I'm going to deglaze that pan. I like putting wine in my sauce, so I might as well use it to deglaze, sort of take advantage of it as a deglazer, and then also as a flavor ingredient in my sauce. But I got to make sure that the bottom has all the really difficult to remove pieces off it. Yep, it's pretty clear. And we'll put it in the sauce. Wipe this out. See how it wipes out pretty cleanly. In this case, I'm going to use a cup of olive oil and a cup of grapeseed oil on the edge first, because they're going to be there longer because it's a little cooler on the edge. I'd like to get these all in. I'd like to do this in one batch, but it looks like it's going to be a little too tight for that. See, that's nice. Look how nice that panko comes up. I mean, that is a nice color. That is absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to flip the rest. While the meatballs are finishing frying, I'm actually going to start taking out the parsley from the sauce and the onions. The onions are nice and soft now, and I don't know if you can see there. They get glassy, just like they do when you saute them. The reason I'm taking these out is I'm going to process the sauce before I put the meat in it, because once the meat goes in here, it goes on a simmer and it's done. Now these are great tools, these wand mixers. Quick Prep, this is by Cuisinart, and I just absolutely love them. And you just stick them down in there. There's 2 speeds, I think you can hear that. And as you can see, the color really starts becoming absolutely gorgeous. I just think it's a beautiful color. It becomes more orangey than red, and that's exactly the way I like it. And we're almost done here. And sounds like the meatballs, I put the other 6 in, so they're almost finished. So we're almost ready to throw this all together and call it a day. And all I'm going to do is take my sausage with all that oil and juices. The reason why I'm not really trying to keep the oil out of here, because all that oil in the bottom of the pan with the sausage, it wasn't just oil. A lot of it was just the juice from the sausage, which again had a lot of the flavor. And I'm not going to lose that flavor worrying about a couple tablespoons of the fat that came out of the sausage. Sorry folks. You can, that's fine, but I'm not going to worry about that. And let me see if I can gather up these meatballs in this paper towel. Oh yeah. Perfect. I'm just going to dump these in. I'm going to stir that around. Oh yes, it looks really good. And I'm going to cook it down. Now, it's not the final taste, but I'm sure it's got excellent flavor already. This is when I'll consider adding salt, or maybe I'll wait until any of the salt in the meat is leached into the sauce. It's perfect. Doesn't need any salt. Every time I make a big pot of sauce, it reminds me of Clemenza and The Godfather. Remember when the families went to the mattresses and they got to cook for themselves, and Clemenza's making a big pot of tomato sauce. The pot's like this tall, and he's showing Michael Corleone how to make it. He's dumped it in the wine and the olive oil, and he just throws it all in there. He says, just cook it until it's, I don't know how many hours he said, but every time I make sauce like this, it reminds me of that scene. It's a great scene. So, it tastes good. It's going to taste even better once the meat cooks in that sauce for another hour or 2. And I am not going to have to add anything, although I have a little black pepper stuck to the bottom of this bowl, and I'm going to throw that in just not to waste it. So anyway, not going to be able to show it to you, tossed with pasta and taste it for you, but I know it's going to be good, and I hope you try it. Please send me a comment if you have any questions. I will also have the recipe below the video on my blog, blazecooks.blogspot.com. Please visit it, and again, if you have any questions or advice or tips, just leave me a note. See you next time.